We're here in Bangalore at Entrepreneur First, and we're on our way to interview Matt Clifford. So stay tuned.
Firstly, we're meeting here in Bangalore. Why are you here?
It was very surprising that you were here. So Entrepreneur First has an office here in Bangalore. We opened it in 2019 and have been funding exceptional individuals here since then. But we've recently really doubled down on India. It's now one of our core four geographies that we work in, and I'm here visiting the office and visiting some of the founders that we work with here.
What would you say is the most counterintuitive advice you find yourself often giving to founders?
I think one thing that a lot of people believe is that if you, particularly as a first-time founder, if you want to increase your chances of success, of having some success, then the way to do that is to lower your ambition. I think that's basically 180 degrees wrong. The hard thing about starting a company isn't really the subjective difficulty of the problem. It's, can you gather and marshal the resources that you need to attack that problem? And it's much harder if you can't. If you can get amazing people to come and help you, if you can raise capital to pay those people, lots of hard problems become easier. And so that's why actually you need to increase rather than decrease the ambition level in order to increase your odds of success, because talent is attracted to ambition, capital is attracted to ambition. You're not going to get amazing people to come and work with you, you're not going to be able to raise money if you're doing something where you're sort of hedging to make it a bit easier.
You've mentioned boring is king in terms of innovation. If you were going to found your own boring company, what would it be?
Well, let me start by saying, why do I think boring is good for founders? I think there's a temptation for a lot of founders, especially first-time founders, to sort of think, what is my edge? They start to think about, what do I like? And they're like, well, I like music, I like sports, I like the gym. And it's like, well, yeah, but so do like a billion other people. That's not actually an edge, that's just, a preference. And so the trouble is, if you go into one of these areas that, you don't really have any edge in, that are not boring, they're in everyone's leisure, then you're going to attract a ton of competition. So I do like boring companies, by which I mean companies that are working in industries that most people wouldn't be drawn to because of the glamour. I don't know what I would build, but maybe I can highlight some EF companies that are sort of working in maybe less sexy areas. So we have a company that from London that just pitched at our San Francisco Demo Day a few weeks ago called Scope, that's looking at inspection compliance and doing AI for inspection compliance. Probably no one grows up and it's like, mommy, when I grow up I want to automate inspection compliance. And as a result, there's not a ton of people trying to do it, but I think there's something very exciting there.
What's your favourite ARIA project been so far?
ARIA is all about moonshots. It's all about these longer term things that are probably years away from being commercial. One of the ones that is live that I'm very excited about because it touches on so many areas that I've been thinking about is a guy called Siraj, who's a former founder as well as a PhD scientist in photonics. He's looking at what can we learn from nature about computation. So it's no secret that compute has become a very hot topic, not just commercially and financially, but also geopolitically. And at the moment, we have one way of thinking about how to do compute, and that's why companies like NVIDIA and TSMC are so dominant. What Siraj is trying to do is say, well, actually, we know that nature computes. We know that living organisms compute, and yet they seem to do so in a much less energy intensive and therefore cost effective way. And so his sort of moonshot vision is how can we lower the cost of compute 1,000-fold over the next decade, and that's something I'm really excited to see play out.
That sounds really exciting.
And last question is, on a bit of a different note, is if you could have dinner with any figure in history, who would it be and why?
So when I think about that question, I'm attracted to thinking about who are the people that if they were alive today would have been billion-dollar or trillion-dollar founders, but did something different. And so, I'm also very interested in historical figures who, despite largely being born into times and societies that were much more structured and hierarchical and rigid, managed to work themselves up from very little to positions of great importance. So the people that come to mind are some of the great ministers and advisors to Henry VIII, people like Cardinal Wolsey or Thomas Cromwell, who were born in very humble origins and became the most powerful people in the country. I think both of them would have been amazing founders, and I would love to have dinner with them and hear a little bit more about how they thought about navigating their way to success.
I love that. So this is early modern history there as well, which you don't get a lot of representation for.
Do my best, I do my best.
Thank you so much, Matt, for giving us your time today.